I'm not recognizing some names. Either new people or people maybe who haven't been here in a while. Okay, cool. That's what I thought. Hello. Hello and welcome. Well, you've chosen a funny class to join because I'm going to be doing something out of my comfort zone today. The readings is not out of my comfort zone. I do these classes every Monday. I'm going to be using tarot cards, which I have not done before. Normally my classes are oracle cards, and I am still in the process. I'm taking a class right now, and I'm not done with it. But I threw this on here because I was like, you know what? I'll have been studying, and it'll give me more motivation to, learn what I can. But I haven't even pulled every card in this deck before, so I don't even like quote unquote know what all of them mean. So I'm really hoping the cards that I just pulled 2 seconds ago are cards I know what they mean. If not, I have the book here, worst case scenario. And as I keep practicing and kind of quizzing myself and working on it, I feel like some of that intimidation factor will go away, and I'll be able to put it in my regular rotation. But per the name of today's class, I will be using the Moonchild Tarot Deck. For those of you who have been in my classes for a long time, I got a moon thing, so all of my decks are moon deck, moonology deck, Moonchild deck. So what I like to do to start off these classes is I show the backs of each of the cards. So again, they're all going to look the same, and I block it so that I'm not seeing what the card is. You can take some deep breaths. You're focusing on the back of the card, and you're trying to tune in yourself, almost like you're doing your own mini psychic reading, to determine which card, number 1 or number 2, will resonate the most with you. If you feel that you could connect with both of them in some combination, great. There is no right or wrong answer. The idea here is just to practice working that intuitive muscle, and you can throw in that number in the chat. So here's, for the last time, card number 1. It's so funny because I'm not used to, they have a glare, but not that it matters because it's just the back of the card, but I'm like adjusting it to make sure you can see it, but it really doesn't matter. The backs of the cards, it's just a white card with the golden detailing. So there's like a moon phase on it, and just kind of some different decorative lines. And then number 2, so we have a mix. And for anyone who is curious about developing their intuition, I haven't scheduled out my June classes yet. I will be doing that within the next 48 hours. But each month I do a psychic development class. So that is a workshop that's part Q&A, part activities. So I lead people through a variety of exercises so that you can practice your intuition. We're on cruise control. And is that lasting the entire week? Pretty much. It's like a solid 6 days. Interesting. And what is happening while we're doing that? Does that mean that are we checked out? No. I'm getting that it's a combination of just dialing back our exertion. So we're leaning more into the ease energy. So we're still moving. This is important to note. When you're on cruise control, your car is still moving forward. You're still going down the road, but you can put a little less effort in, if you will. You don't have to, steer the wheel as actively, because you would only go on cruise control when you're on that straight road going forward. You're not having to switch gears or keep your foot on the gas or we're hovering on the brake. So the idea is that we still have momentum and we're going forward, but we're positioning ourselves in such a way that we can take our hands off. I just keep getting at ease. We're slightly, and this feels physical. It, like what I keep talking about, that we're letting go of the controls a little bit, or it allows our muscles to relax. We can shift and be in a new position, because it's like, I remember this just as a memory. When I was training to get my license, you go on these different driving tests and you work with the instructors, and I will never forget this, that I was in this one class, and this was a notoriously tough teacher. He had this reputation for being, challenging. And so I remember I had my hands on the wheel, and I remember him saying to me that I was gripping the wheel too hard. Because it's like you're nervous. And so you're holding on to it because you're like, okay, like I have to make sure I have control over it. And he was like, you have to actually, not that you're not holding on to the wheel, but if you hold on too tight, you're not going to be able to even maneuver it as well. So we have a little bit of that going on, being able to take our hands off, reposition ourselves, take some more glances around. It gives us more information. It allows us to make sure we're going down the path that we want to go. It feels like it supports our confidence. Like because we took again, we're not stopping. We're not in a full pause, but we are a little bit more in the position of receiving and allowing things to play out, allowing us to really understand, and then it helps reaffirm what we want, the direction that we want to go. Again, whether we want to stop, whether we want to pivot, whether we want to turn around. It seems like that's kind of highly unlikely. We're still mostly moving forward. It's more just like, do we want to take a detour? Do we want to pause, reconvene? Are we going to connect with people? Are we going to stock up? You go to the gas station or the charging station. That those are all choices that we are making. It's our executive decision over our life. That's the more of the feeling of this. Right, moment of truth, people. I know this card. Thank goodness. Okay. 4 of Cups. The energy behind it is that something is coming and you can't see it. So like you can't predict it. So maybe it's unexpected, not necessarily. I'm trying to get this. I have a little bit of the glare here, so I'm just going to turn it a little bit. So there's a woman seated and she has her eyes closed. So that's one of the main components of it. When you see this card in other decks is they're looking away. Something is happening behind them. It's out of their line of vision. And Cups cards are always about your intuition, creativity, relationships, connection. So she is in a meditative posture, but she's not seeing the cup. She's not seeing the offering, or even it looks like there's light that's coming in behind her, some sort of offering, some sort of a download or insight. And I think this is interesting because this feels very receiving, like what we were just discussing, that you're on the road, you're dialing back a little bit. 4 cards are about foundations and stability. So she is grounded, she's rooted. It's like what we're doing while we're driving this car. We're like, okay, I'm locked in to cruise control, which is setting the car going at a certain speed. We've stabilized the car. We're going straight. We're headed on that road. So it definitely has that energy. And when we're doing that, we're able to connect to ourselves more and know, is this working? Is this not working? So it's a bit of that introspection, tuning in, connecting to our gut. So, wow, what relief. I'm glad that this makes sense. I don't know why I doubted myself. I shouldn't have doubted myself. This happens literally every single week with the Oracle cards where I go, oh my gosh, that's perfect. This is the perfect card. But no, this is definitely the perfect card. This makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Carrie. I know. Hopefully this just highlights for everybody, like, yes, I'm intuitive. Yes, I can do readings. And I still think that's cool. It's like, oh, wow. I get surprised when things resonate. I go, oh, really? That makes sense for you? That's shocking. How do I know this? I don't know how I know this, exactly how I'm receiving the information. I just know I have the ability to channel, but we're all people. So I'm still going to have nerves about things or doubt my intuition. So as much as I try to teach everybody on here to trust it, it's like I have to trust it too. I can handle stuff. I can be on the fly, you know. Because my intuition is fine. My intuition is fine. It's just my brain interfering, and it's that like fear response of, oh, well, what if I look like I don't know what I'm talking about or something. So that's a whole other thing. If we're talking astrology, that's my Chiron in the 3rd house. Communication. What if I'm saying the wrong thing? What if I'm saying something that doesn't make any sense? People want to even listen to what I'm saying. That's all that stuff. I'm getting that we're scaling something. So it looks like a mountain climber, rock climber. This feels more of like the free form, kind of free climbing, where they have like the sharp tool or axe or something, the pick, and they're using those to kind of work their way up. So unlike the first one, this feels much more like our body is really involved in this one. This is much more manual, effort, action oriented, and driven. And because we're having to not only use the strength of that, but then we have to pull ourselves up to then keep going. So this is like way yes, engage. So it's like way on the opposite end. The first one, we're kind of sitting, we're in a pause, but we're observant, we're aware. And for the second one, we're really in the details every moment that's in front of us. We have to pay attention to it. We have to be aware of where we are in space and time and what we're doing and our abilities, our strength, our skill set. Are we getting tired? What's our energy level at? So it's present in a different way because it's more active, more all in, all senses, all muscles dialed in. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think I said for the first one, like we were dialing it back, and this is dialing in. I think that's a good way of explaining it, Danny. So the second reading is also inherently carrying this idea of ascension. So I was saying for the first one, oh, we had that sparkle in our tooth, but it wasn't because we were having some sort of an up level. But whenever we are climbing, whenever we're ascending, like if you see this in dreams or in readings as well, someone's climbing upstairs, walking upstairs, going up something, then it's a journey to ascend, to do more, to acquire, to integrate, to not so much in the place of receiving like we are for the first one. Like it's a 5 to 6 day thing. So it's really the bulk of the week, climbing, focusing on, it's not even that we're focusing on getting to the top. We're focused on the climb. Cue Miley Cyrus, it's the climb. Okay. So how it's coming through is that the 5 to 6 days is you're focusing about the climb. You're focused on the present, the action. You know, moving this here, lifting myself up, keep going, keep going, keep going, working on that ascension. And you're in the present by doing that. But then it feels like you do get to the end. You get to some sort of viewpoint or stopping point or something where you are no longer climbing. I mentioned that was for some. So what are the other people doing that if they're not climbing for 5 to 6 days? Starting and stopping, starting and stopping, starting and stopping. So some people, they're, speaking of, maybe a little bit out of their comfort zone. They thought that they had trained for this. Maybe they didn't train enough. And so they're having to stop, get water, rest their muscles a little bit more than they were expecting. And it's still the energy maintenance. It's still what we're saying, how much do I have left in the tank? That's the main question we're asking with the second reading. But for some people, it feels more start, stop, start, stop. We're still moving. We're still getting there. We still get to the point where we can look out by the end of the week. But we're probably not getting as far at the mountain because we have to keep stopping over and over and over again. So for the people that are able to power through because they've practiced, they're, you know, farther along in their journey of ascension, they will inherently get higher and have a higher lookout view. Whereas those who are maybe newer to this or inexperienced or underprepared, it's a situation out of their comfort zone because they're starting and stopping, starting and stopping, they're still having a net increase, net ascension. It's just at a slower rate, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Growth is growth. Sun. I know I pulled this card, but it was so long ago. My general understanding of this card, and I can confirm to verify, it's about the illumination piece. If we think about it astrologically, the sun is about the ego. It's shining a light on something. Oh my gosh, people. I just realized. At the end of this week, on the 30th, We have the Mercury Cazimi, which is in the heart of the sun. That's what that means. So it's whenever a planet conjoins or is at the same degree point in the same sign as the sun, something is illuminated. There's an aha moment specifically with Mercury. There's a realization. It's a great time to put something into the sun, as in making it visible to others, promoting something, sharing something, explaining something, learning something, and really anything with communication. So that's a very, very interesting tie-in that we have something astrologically significant happening at the end of the week with the sun. But normally, it's something with the light of day. It's something with our life force energy, like the women on this card. They are dancing. They are in celebration. So there's, if memory serves, some sort of achievement that's happening. So I'm just going to confirm what this says so I make sure that my memory is accurate. Replenishes your life with warmth and radiance. When its light shines through, all avenues of personal fulfillment or success are imbued with abundance as the universe supports and nurtures your path. And that's all I'm supposed to read. Apparently, I'm stopping. Reading number 1. We were on cruise control. We're in our car. We're switching gears. We're settling in. We're shifting our position in our seat. We're taking longer glances out the window. We're taking in the view of this journey that we're on around us. We're still moving forward, but we've been able to connect to our bodies in a way that we're relaxing. We're getting out of that locked in position. We're becoming more present in the sense that we're really taking in what's happening around us, and we are opening to receiving information that we can then use after, 6 days? So basically in the last 24 hours of this week ahead. So June 1st into 2nd, depending on your time zone, it falls somewhere in there. At that point, we're then deciding based on what we have received by settling into ease a little bit more, not trying to assert as much control. We decide, do we want to keep going forward? Do we want to hit a rest stop? Do we want to detour? Do we want to go a different direction? Do we want to fill up at the gas station? We get to that decision point. I will back up. The first card was the 4 of Cups. And here we have the Cups card. This is water card. It's intuitive. 4s are about stability. She is pausing. Something is coming that she can't see because her eyes are closed. So for all of the above, she's paused, she's at rest, she's stable, she's connecting to her intuition, she's connecting to wisdom. And then whatever comes to her, she'll be able to use that going forward. Second reading, we are rock climbing using the old pick version. Going up the mountain, very physical, very active in the body rather than sitting in receiving. We are constantly asking ourselves, how much do I have left in the tank? Because we have to exert ourselves so much to climb up this mountain because we are free climbing, using these picks, having to pull ourselves up and continue forward. We are ascending vertically rather than moving forward horizontally as we were for the first reading. For some people, you spend the first 5 to 6 days of the week just climbing up the mountain. And then at the tail end, you are stopping because you are taking in the view. You are gaining perspective and insights from your ascension journey. For others, you are newer to whatever these circumstances are. You are out of your comfort zone. It is a different experience. You didn't train enough. And so you're stopping and starting and stopping and starting because when you keep checking in on your tank, it keeps getting depleted. So you have to stop and rest, and then you keep going. And that's what you're spending your first 80% of the week doing. And when you stop for your viewpoint and perspective, you're just not as high up as the people who have been doing this for a little bit longer and who have built up that muscle so they can get higher because they didn't have to stop really at all. But everyone is able to check their surroundings, see what they're able to learn by the end of the week. Our second card is the Sun. This card represents a celebration of our successes. In this case, we've reached the top of the mountain or wherever it is that we have been able to reach. And we reached our viewpoint to gain perspective, to be able to look back, reflect, be proud of ourselves because we worked hard. We had to exert ourselves so much for the people in this camp. We had to put a lot in order to get to where we get by the end of this week. I think it's very interesting that both of them have some sort of rays on the cards. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. I'll just kind of rotate it, but oh, there we go. So you can see there's like a ray coming down here of light. And then here, obviously, we have them going in all different directions. So I thought that that was kind of interesting. Obviously, we have one that is inherently fiery and one that is watery. They are in opposition to each other. It feels very much to me like a yin and yang situation. We are actively climbing to ascend, to get to our viewpoint, our lookout point, to achieve. And here we are still moving forward, but we are practicing the skills of relaxing, connecting to our intuition, releasing control, and being able to receive rather than seeking to achieve. So those are the main archetypal differences, I would say. They both operate on the same, pretty much the same timeline. And I think it's a matter of maybe these are in different areas of your life. So maybe there's one area of your life where you're setting things on cruise control so that you have the bandwidth to go all in on something else that requires more of your exertion, effort, and energy. So you are dialing it back, as Danny was saying earlier, dialing it back for one area so that you can dial in for the other. And you're reallocating your energy. And what you're doing is you're making sure when you check in with reading number 2 that you have enough in the tank, you have enough in the tank because of the work that you're doing over here. Because when you can allow yourself to receive, to be present, you're present in both of these, but you're present in different ways. This one is present in your circumstance. You're seeing what's around you. You're connected to your intuition, but you're connected to the collective more. You're looking at your environment. You're looking at nature, people, taking everything in, processing it. And here you're connected to your body, your energy, your life force, the sun. And that's where your attention is going. So can you do both at the same time? Yes, but you might not be able to do all of them fully. So I would say it's most likely that you're focused on one, you're focused on the other. You are allocating one to a certain area of your life and another to a different area. And if you're trying to do the two of them, it's a very, very careful tightrope that you are walking when you're asking yourself, you know, how much do I have left in the tank? Because if this isn't like crushing with what you're receiving to keep refilling your cup, then you won't have the energy to keep going. So it's about the trade-off. And we get somewhere by the end of the week. We gain perspective by the end of the week. We gain the insight that we need to decide where we want to go next. So the card number 1 was more about deciding next steps. And card number 2 is just gaining perspective. We spent all week taking action. So we're not being set up to, well, now I'm going to go decide something new. Whereas for this reading, it was like, okay, well, I'm gonna figure out the thing I want to do, and I'm gonna start doing it by the end of the week. And start heading in that direction. Whew, we did it. All right, everyone, let me know your thoughts. And thank you for being here and for your pep talks and support as I did my first ever tarot readings. Wasn't too bad. Thank you. you know, you get it, we get in our own way. That's what happens. So the more I study, the more confident I'll feel, because there's a lot of cards. There's a lot of cards in here.